Reagan Robertson here with Productive Dentist Academy. Get ready to join your favorite podcast hosts, Dr. Bruce B. Baird, Victoria Peterson, Dr. Chad Johnson, and myself, Reagan Robertson, at the nation's #1 dental business course that guarantees practice growth. That's right. Full immersion CE, so you can consistently produce more and align your team for results without compromising excellent patient care. Productive Dentist Academy has a special running this month that you can activate immediately. It's called the PDA Productivity Bundle. And we put this together so that you could attend this workshop, which is happening September 22nd to the 24th in Frisco, Texas at the Hyatt Regency, along with tools to make sure that not only are you getting great education on how to increase your productivity, how to communicate better with your team and your patients, increase your case acceptance, authentic market practice, and more, you also get a 2-hour business advisory session before the workshop to really get clear on what matters to you most so that you can be set up for success at the workshop. And following the workshop, you get 12 months access to PDA on demand. That is the entire productivity workshop on demand for you to make sure that you are doing everything you can in your power to soak up all of that CE and implement it come Monday morning, the next month, and the next month, and the next month for 12 months down the line. Registration is now open. The tuition cost is $2,195, which is ridiculous because it's regularly $5,528 for the productivity workshop attendance, 2-hour business advisory session, and 12 months access to PDA on demand. Hop on over right now to www.productivedentist.com/workshop to grab your registration today. Again, that is www.productivedentist.com/workshop. If you cannot wait and you have to have it right now, email Brent, BRENT, at productivedentist.com. That's Brent, BRENT, at productivedentist.com, and we will save you a seat. I look forward to seeing you there.
Dr. Victoria Peterson here, and welcome back to Investment Grade Practices podcast. You may remember in our last episode, we were chatting with Drs. Clint and Kelly Euse about their vision and core values and how that drove creation of their investment grade practice. Today, as promised, I'm bringing you the second half of my conversation with them, where we dig into how they use those core values to attract and hire the people who not only understand, but are committed to implementing at a high level the vision of that investment grade practice. I'm also switching it up a bit and adding my deeper dive at the end of this episode. These are really key foundational topics. So I have a few things I want to share with you as you contemplate how you will craft your own investment grade practice. Let's get started.
Under the or with the goal of not impacting our current lifestyle and flexibility that we've come to enjoy and that we built upon. So that's, I think that's where we're at.
Well, and our team, and we have a lot of, females that work at the office, and, everybody has a life outside of the office, right? And we have the work family and we have your home family, and they love having that extra day with their family. And I want to respect that.
I think that your core values are at the heart of your success and at the heart of your management style. Is there anything that you would share with other doctors? It's probably the ¡1 reason our phone rings and doctors engage Productive Dentist Academy. The first thing they ask is, can you fix my team? and we laugh and go, no, well, we can, but it's going to start with you, right?
Sure.
And it's also, interestingly, the #1 reason that doctors sell to private equity is the promise that they no longer have to manage, all the people stuff. But when you and I were talking about it, Clint, you got an unsolicited offer, and it seemed like you had a mental checklist of, well, they say they're going to do this, 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 and this, but I already have this, 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 and this. What's your secret, and what would you share with other owners and leaders about creating smooth management systems?
Gosh, yeah. Well, how much time do we have?
Another encore.
Yeah. So yeah, let me kind of hit the highlights as far as what I think are the real takeaways or kind of the most important things. Is I think so. One, and this is always challenging because it's especially in today's environment as far as hiring anybody, trying to find somebody. But I would say that you have to find people and hire people that share your vision, and that are willing to put in the extra effort. We're an office that like we work hard and we play hard. And if you're the type of person that's looking for the 9 to 5 clock in, clock out type job, like we are not the office for you, and our culture says that, our interview process says that. And, that's one thing, is that you have to hire people that are willing to put in that extra effort, and that want to be part of something greater than just a kind of clock in, clock out type of job. So, I know it's a big topic today because it's hard to just find people in general, but hiring the right people is crucial. We have like our director of operations, April, she's kind of my right hand as far as the business goes, as far as the day-to-day operations. And, I'm so blessed to have someone like her because she has, 30 plus years of dental experience. Her dad was a dentist, and she's someone that I can 100% rely on, that understands the vision of the practice and is willing to implement that, and is willing to kind of follow that vision, where we haven't always had that, where, I've had, an office manager in the past that was, that would like to kind of spin the vision or to what she thought was more palatable, kind of palatable to the team. And, and that can't work. So finding the right people, of course, is huge. I think, if there's one thing that people can do today, or let's say Monday, when they're back in the office, that is immediately actionable, is showing really true appreciation and gratitude for your team. I've gone through, my own journey of leadership. When I started owning the practice, I was very much of the mindset of I pay you to be here. You should be here. You should be happy, and that's enough. Is that just a paycheck should be enough for you to do your job, do it well, and be happy. And I can tell you that was not enough, and that didn't work.
Darth Vader does not work.
That was a challenge for me, and that was a challenge for our team. And there are a lot of bumps in the road on that type of style of, it's kind of this, just do it because you're paid to do it. And this is where I got to give Kelly a ton of credit, because she's the one that really softens me and is so great with our team and showing appreciation. But I think is showing that appreciation and gratitude, so people truly feel that. And so we do things. Kelly can speak to this more than I can, but there's like on Thursdays, this is it seems like a small thing, but our office loves it. Is I buy every Thursday is like Starbucks Thursday. Is that we celebrate. It's the end of the week. Everyone kind of gets their coffees and things like that. Kelly's always doing, small gifts and challenges and things to keep the team engaged. And so in our culture has really become that it's more of it's certainly a business, but kind of a family environment. We all take care of each other, and people are there for a reason, because they feel that they're part of something bigger than just a regular job. And so I would say, really finding a way. It doesn't take much, going in and saying thank you and I appreciate you guys, and even small gestures just to show them that they're appreciated would go, would be a step in the right direction for any team and any leader of a team. And then the final part of that, I know I'm talking a lot here, but the final part that I would say is really understanding your team. One of our favorite events that we did with PDA is when you guys had Sally Hogshead in. And did the personality, kind of how the world sees you, and we've incorporated that a lot into our practice. With some of our team meetings, and we bring on new team members, having them take the profile, and everyone understanding how do you communicate with individuals, and how do you show appreciation to different individuals, all those kind of things, because everyone is very different. As far as some people like direct communication, some people need the accolades, some people need, we found that to be hugely successful, is understanding our team as individuals, and how to communicate with them as individuals, where they respond and understand. And so I would say those are probably three highlights that I can give as far as moving in the right direction with your team to take some of that stress of the challenges that come with, managing a team in dentistry.
I concur.
You said a lot, and what my ears heard, it was such gold. I would not interrupt that flow at all. Take care of your people, take care of your people, take care of your people, right? So
yes.
hire the people that believe in you, and then turn around and give it back,
Yep.
I just love that. Well, I can tell that I'm going to invite the two of you back again once you have completed your expansion. I'd love to. I want to come back. I know all of our listeners are going to go, was it worth it? Is he still alive? What happened to Clint and Kelly? So be prepared, everyone. We're going to bring Clint and Kelly Euse, I think America's favorite dentist from Carson City, Nevada. And for all the PDA alumni, Grand Slammers, and clients and members, you will get to see Dr. Clint Euse live in person speaking for us in September at our very first IGP, Investment Grade Practice Summit. So mark your calendar, September 22nd through 24th. Clint is going to come and share a bit of his story. We also have Dr. Nikki Green, who is going to share her story. She is equally compelling, saying, I optimized the heck out of my practice, and then I sold to a DSO, and life is cherry, and I love it. So you're going to get point, counterpoint. And then Clint, you don't know this yet, Max Staney. Staney is going to join you on the panel. So
that's awesome. I love Max.
Yeah, Max is right in the middle with, I don't know if I'm going to sell or if I'm going to stay or if I'm going to go, but I know I'm really profitable and I love life. So I think we've got three very powerful, compelling stories that will generate a lot of conversation when we're in that 2.5 days together. It doesn't matter where you're at in your journey. It's how you're showing up to where you're at in your journey that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. And that's so awesome, because I think that there really is. I mean, that there isn't just one way of doing this, and my intention of sharing our story is certainly not to convince anybody that this is the only way or the right way. It's just the way that we found that works for kind of our goals and our core values and things like that. And I can't wait. I would love to hear Nikki and Max and any other perspective, because it's always going to be fluid. And I think that as we go through this process, things are going to change and mindsets are going to be, a little different along the way. But where we're at now, that's where we're at. So that's awesome. I think that's going to be an awesome time to kind of share those and hear those different perspectives.
I love it. Yeah. My team's like, what's the agenda? And I'm like, we're going to sit around a table and we're going to talk. And they're going, what's the agenda? So make sure you bring April. She's invited. We have an amazing breakout for our high-level office managers going deeper into comptrolling. So think like driving the bus for the office managers, creating community there so they have equal resources, and also marketing coordinators. We've got a great breakout session on being better marketing coordinators and keeping up with everything. So that's what our IGP Summit's going to look like. And I have, oh my God, so many great, maybe 4 or 5 industry experts on transitions and accounting and finding associates and all kinds of high caliber people bringing us new information in a very curated and vetted way. You know how protective I am of all of our PDA tribe. I want to vet this out. So I imagine blue sky and driving the bus coming together.
Oh, perfect. Those are 2 of my favorites. So yes, I'm excited.
Well, thank you so much for spending time with me this morning. I know you're headed out to live your life, going on a grand adventure this weekend, and I appreciate you.
Join us one of these weekends.
Although I don't know, I see the pictures of, of your place and the beautiful views, and that looks like the projects you guys are doing. And I can see why you wouldn't want to leave there.
Yeah. Well, bring Jackson and Mason to come and visit anytime. We're ready for you.
I know we got to get that on the calendar. So, but thank you, Victoria. You're a huge blessing in our lives.
You really are. You don't know how much you inspired us, and we always fall back on things that you said, and you taught us and did all the PDA events through the years.
So we can't wait to see you in September.
What an amazing conversation that we just had with Dr. Clint and Kelly Euse. I know I always walk away with many things to contemplate after talking with them. Here's a few things that I learned. As I promised at the beginning of this episode, I have added my deeper dive at the end of this episode. I want to bring forward the highlights from the past 2 episodes so that you can consider and think about your own life as it relates to the dental practice you want to build. As I've mentioned before, there are a few key fundamentals that must be in place for every practice owner. How you implement them will vary from doctor to doctor, but if you get the fundamental aspects in place, it will inform every decision you make along the journey of crafting your investment grade practice. First, design your life, then design your career. What great advice from Drs. Clint and Kelly Euse, and what a thrill to be with them today. We've been witnessing their path and their journey for over 10 years. I can remember Clint and Kelly being 34, 35 years old, just as enthusiastic and bright-eyed and optimistic about the world as they are today. And so now in their mid-40s, working 2.5 days a week, full life balance, creating life balance for their team. They are one powerhouse couple and business owners. And I think anybody in the Carson City or Reno area, if you know of someone looking for a job, their practice is stellar. One of my mentors, Tony Robbins, I remember him saying this phrase, and I think it really summarizes Clint's outlook on life. Tony says, people typically overestimate what they can do in a year, and they vastly underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. And that to me is the first key point that I want to highlight in this episode. Expand your horizon. That's a key takeaway. Think about, where do you want to be in 5 years and 10 years? Remember, Clint said, be intentional with your life. Write it out, dream big, and then execute towards it. With all that's going on in the world right now, and I know it's not going to be a straight line to success. However, the guiding vision of where you want to be in 5 or 10 years, it's going to keep you on course. It really will. I can testify to that in my own life. I started out as a dental hygienist who had preterm babies. It was very difficult to be a mom and a working hygienist and the demands of that. And the consulting firm that we had used in our office called to see if I would literally come and run the projector and do all the logistics for the seminar. I raised my hand and said yes, and that launched my consulting career. But before that, as a young hygienist, I had taken a Dale Carnegie class, and I knew that I wanted to speak. I knew that I wanted to influence the industry. However, I was 20 years old and didn't have a lot to say back then. But the seeds that were sown were there, and they were ripe, and I was ready when the opportunities came. So expand your horizon and start looking into the future. That's what leaders do. They make it up and then they make it happen. So expand your horizon. That was a great point by Clint. For Clint, I think that building, owning, and expanding an investment grade practice, that's always been his dream. He may not have had those exact words, but that is exactly what he's building. So the second key to their success centered around their core values. Core values are what will keep the process on the rails. It is your true north. It's what you come back to. And I actually wrote them out. He spoke into values in so many different ways. First, he said, we always knew we wanted a family, regardless of what career path we chose. We wanted to be the ones to raise our boys. We believed that our team deserved time with their families. They spoke a lot to the core value of life balance and family and deep relationships and connection. He also talked about productivity as a value. We're productive at work. They're over $3 million practice with essentially 3 part-time dentists. They're highly productive when they're in the office. And what I can tell you about productive dentists is that they're typically highly clinically skilled as well, because you can't remake your work. You can't have a lot of redos and emergencies and re-cementing crowns and things like that and maintain production at that level. So highly productive doctors really have also mastered their skills in that way. I also think that they are a lot of fun. Did you hear the values of fun? We have Starbucks Thursday. Hey, Kelly, I think you should call that Latte Love Day, where we just bring a latte love to the team, which flowed into the value of appreciation and recognition. They gave you lots of examples of how they recognize the team and appreciate the team. They really talked about connecting. Like I loved Clint when he told the story that in the beginning as a leader, I give you a paycheck, that should be enough. It's not nearly enough. And going deeper into getting to know each team member on a personal level. What do they love to do? Where do they vacation? What is their family life about? Understanding their work style, learning styles, their preferences and skills and communication styles. All of that makes a difference in how you connect with your team and how they connect with you. And then the last value that I'll go into that I picked up on was autonomy. Both the doctors definitely expressed a higher desire to control the clinical direction, to be in control of their life. And that really is the spark of their entrepreneurship. But they also spoke about April, their office manager, and you heard it in the phrase where he said, I 100% rely on her to implement our vision. That's a leader who has trust in this team and in giving them autonomy, because they know that they're aligned on core values so deeply that if they do go left or right, steer out of bounds a little bit, it's not with intention. Everybody makes mistakes, but we're on the same core value. We're on the same team. Kelly spoke a lot about team. So really, after you figure out where you go, you've got to figure out, what are the values? What do you want? How do you want life to show up? How do you want people to show up around you? Because your core values are what drives behaviors. And you heard Clint talk about that too. He said, we use our values in the interview process. We reinforce our values when we're onboarding. We cultivate this in our team agreements. So core values are not a nice, consultant's team building tool. It should be a living part of the DNA of your company. It really is the unspoken glue that holds everything together. So these are the type of things that make a large organization work. The values are tied to behaviors. You heard Clint say, we use these in our interview process. We reinforce them when we're onboarding. We cultivate this in our team agreements. These are the things that make managing a larger organization work. My final takeaway for this episode is build assets. Again, building an investment grade practice is about building the lifestyle you want today with an eye to the future. Clint talked a lot about succession planning, even though right now he's not ready to offer partnership in his practice. He's bringing on another associate. He's looking towards the future. He's laying down the groundwork for it. So he's already looking at his succession plan probably 10 years down the road when he's at the ripe old age of 55. So he's currently optimizing the practice that in a way that fills the gaps in the service mix. The new associate loves endo, so that optimizes it, that supports the asset that he's building in the practice. He also is optimizing the systems for smooth flow. He was able to purchase the real estate rather than simply expand and continue leasing. What we didn't talk about, but I know is true for Clint, is he's got a savings plan and he's investing in retirement plans in his own financial portfolios and investments outside the practice. So that's the second key to investment grade practice, is using the cash flow of the business to build additional assets. Robert Kiyosaki in Rich Dad, Poor Dad talks about that. If you're making a lot of money and you're buying cars and assets that depreciate, then you're not getting ahead in life. So roll those assets into another asset and then use the interest off of that to go purchase the fun things in your life. So no doubt you heard the joy, the laughter, the humor that Dr. Clint and Kelly bring to life. This is the essence of building an investment grade practice. And I'm really grateful to both of them for being with me today. And I really thank you for joining me. And if you'd like more information on how you could build an investment grade practice, visit us at productivedentist.com. You can take the IGP self-assessment and discover insights about your practice.